she'll be here.
Okay, I guess we could get the ball rolling. All right, thank you everybody for being present. All right, let's start with the first item on the agenda. We have roll call. Present, we have Christina Amato.
Here.
Gregory Nato. Here. Adam Pollock. Here. Myself. We're waiting for Yanni Pearson to come. And of course, Mr. Bob McLaughlin and Ms. Cherise Vickers. All right. Proof of the notice of the meeting was sent out. Does anybody have any questions about the minutes? Moving on to item number 3 from the minutes from the last meeting. If everything is in sound order, then I would need a motion to approve.
I move that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Need a second?
Second.
Oh, go ahead. Adam seconds.
Well, do we have a mic for you over here? I think yours got shifted a little bit. Yeah.
It's okay.
All right, so Adam was the second on? Okay, so all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Abstaining? Opposing? All right, so we quickly move on to item number 4, which is the report of the treasurer.
All right, Treasurer's report, April meeting, transactions in March. The operating account began with a balance of $284,562.39. There were deposits totaling $63,068.17 during the month, over total checks and disbursements in the amount of $14,327.82, yielding a closing balance of $333,302.74 in the operating account. The payroll account began with a balance of $133,542.90. There was a total monthly payroll expense during the month in the amount of $9,953.79, and interest paid in the amount of $431.73, yielding a closing balance in the payroll account of $124,020.84. Our applications fund account began and closed with the same balance, $14,151.44. Our lesser tenant account began with a balance of $2,436.75. There was interest paid in the amount of $8.26, yielding a closing balance of $2,445.01. Our labor monitoring account began and ended with the same balance, $15,014.79. Our money market account began with a balance of $1,243,272.67. There was interest earned in the amount of $4,212.18, yielding a closing balance in the money market account of $1,247,484.85. The Newburgh South Logistics Center account began with an opening balance of $3,518.77. There were total deposits in the. I don't think that's totaled. There were itemized deposits and interest income in the amount of $402, $1,750, and $8.04. There were disbursements made in the amount of $1,750 and $3,962, yielding a closing balance of $26.81. Our old Lakeland Bank account number 4346 has a zero balance. The newer Lakeland Bank account number 5683 began and ended with the same balance, which is $4,102,875.30. All right. I'll hear a motion to approve the Treasurer's report for March 2024 activity.
So moved.
Moved by Chrissy. Any second?
I'll second.
Gregory seconds. All those in favor of approving the treasurer's report as written?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Right. The motion carries. I'll hear a motion to pay our bills for March 2024.
So moved.
So moved, Marlon Ramos. Is any second?
I'll second.
Great, Renato. All those in favor of paying our bills, March 2024?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Sherry, I also see audit for 2023.
Yeah, that was left over from last last time. I didn't delete it, but
Okay, no problem.
it's just up as an agenda item to approve the audit for later on. So nothing to report on other than last time.
Okay.
That's
You
one
want
of
us
the.
to do that now, the resolution?
It's number one, so you can wait till new business.
Okay, that concludes the treasurer's report. Thanks.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for that. I had, so for the chairman's report, if you actually, I had Chair print out this article that goes over an interesting, an interesting economic development initiative in Westchester County. So basically, it's called Westchester. So the title of the article says Westchester County OED announces 2024 launch 1,000 program. So it's for entrepreneurs of Orange County, and it's an incubator. They help people work through the business plan, work through their business ideas. It seems to be free for the Westchester residents. And when I started to do some research, it looks like the Westchester County IDA was involved. We have been trying to think of different ways so that we can also participate in some sort of job development, some workforce development, that type of thing, in some creative way. So I wanted to bring this forth so that maybe we could do some research and look into how an IDA plays into this, and if there's a space that we can actually participate in our local economy in this space. I think we should explore it. So I would say, if everybody's okay, we can ask Chair to make sure that we can look into this and
We ask
find
Bob.
out.
Bob, is this something you've seen?
So the only issue would be the use of the monies and the general restriction on those use of the monies. So Marlon asked me before the meeting, so I suggested that Cher reach out to the Westchester IDA Executive Director and see what level of support the IDA is providing. It could be an initiative that was sponsored by the county, and that the IDA is just participating without cash. So it's just something to look at.
Yeah, and so I also wanted to note that it looked like the Orange County IDA had started an initiative like this at some point.
So the Orange County IDA, their initiative, from my understanding, was started some time ago and was used by fees that they generated from their bond program. And then they have annual fees from their bond program. So that's what they use those monies for. Those monies are outside the IDA and are not restricted by state law. So
Different.
the other agencies around the state that do something like that have monies, revenue from some other source other than project revenue, which is what you have.
Okay, and so the program's no longer active. So, so exploring this, I think it should be a good idea. So, thank you for that, Bob. And so I don't have anything other than I've had a bunch of meetings with regards to our website and the maps that we're working to develop. So there's just a few meetings, and I think there's other people that are part of this like Gregory, maybe we can share that together. But I think we could say that we're close to seeing the end of this process when it comes to the website part, like the meat and potatoes. We're very close. If you want to add anything else, Gregory, please feel free.
Sure, the basic framework is established. Now we're filling in text and copy based on Cher's expertise. Next, coming up, we have the photo shoot, so we can populate with actual Newburgh-specific photography and video. So it'll be truly ours. We won't be using stock photography, which will be very nice. Maybe another month, maybe?
Yeah, it seems very close. Yeah, I could probably
by,
maybe
by next meeting, we should be able to start playing with the actual model of the website.
right.
The version, that website that they have that I think I sent out to you a while ago, you can play with that. It's that testing website is still up, and we have a live landing page for the IDA now that just says coming soon. And we've also kind of narrowed down the template for the booklet, the pamphlet. And I think we were just gonna narrow down, proofread that and narrow down some of the copy on that as well. So that's pretty far along as well.
So thank you for that. So did everybody share their bio if they needed to make any changes? Everybody's up to that update? Okay. And the photos too? Okay. So if we're missing that, let's just... I know the feeling, trust me. Yeah. So, okay. So that's just that regarding the website. And then in addition to that, we've met with the part, specifically with the map development. And I think this is the beginning stages of it. So it was just a lot of information sharing. We talked about where we want to go with the design, but it's kind of early stages, or I believe at this point. Would you agree? Okay. All right. So that's everything from me. I don't have anything else to report. I guess we can move on to the next item, which is the council's report.
Hi, good evening. Good to see you all again. There's a couple of items that we can talk about during the resolution stage on Scobie Drive and Brookfield, the Newburgh South Logistics. In addition, on the Armory project, there's a resolution on the agenda for that as well. So the only item that I think I need to bring you up to speed on is the FSH Hotel.
Okay.
I did reach out to council, tried to nail them down with a little bit more specific time frame. Received an email from Sims directly as a response, and he's optimistic that it's a third quarter close for them, and that they'll get rolling after that. Third quarter, they don't have a commitment yet, but it seems firm, so we'll shoot for that, I guess. It probably will slip to the fourth quarter because the third quarter is September. So I'll probably slip to the fourth quarter. I think from your standpoint, what we should do is circulate some draft of the amendment, a draft amendment to the resolution that the approving resolution with all of the benchmarks that we had there, you had there, plus the recapture events. I'll get that out to the board before the next meeting for your consideration. We can discuss it at that meeting, and then we should maybe consider approval of that either in June or September. But we will have to have that approving before we can start doing new documents. Essentially, it'll just bring everything forward by 24 or 30 months. So, like the pilot right now would expire July of 39, which was 15 years after they expected to be complete. That obviously has to slip to 2041 or 2042. So that's it.
All right, thank you for that. So then we can move on to item number 7, Executive Director's Report.
Sure. It's been a busy month overall with all of these things, but right before the board meeting, I'll just pass this down to you. So right before the board meeting, MRB, we were probably going to have them present, but I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know that they were going to present. And I was like, how do we do that? And so anyway, I do have the slides that they wanted to consider. So just to kind of tickle your ear on what they've done so far in the few meetings that we've had, it's been a great experience. Basically, what they're trying to narrow down in these slides is to present you 3 different pilot schedules. One would be a standard pilot schedule for 10 years, just a slight adjustment of what we currently have in the UTEP. Then they're considering a commercial adaptive reuse one that's 13 years intended for adaptive reuse that is non-residential. And then they're looking at a third one, which is mixed use, which would be a 15-year pilot intended for projects that include rental. So it also gives strict criteria that's outlined on the slide on pages. I think I circled it, somebody else's one that I gave. I think it's slides 11, 12, and 13 on what that would entail. So I'm not expecting you to make any decisions about it. I don't think they were either, but just something for you to consider. And then if you have any comments, you can let me know, but also for you to just see how the work is progressing. And she thinks that they're pretty close to drafting some policy language for Bob to consider. So as of right now, that would be the 3 different scenarios that we'd be considering based on the conversations that we've had before. The next meeting is this Wednesday. And so, it's a Zoom meeting. I think who attended the last time? Marlon attended and Chrissy attended, right, because we were talking about housing. But, if anybody is, really interested in this topic, you're more than welcome to attend as well, just to see where we're at. And I think definitely by the next board meeting, we'll have them present, probably by Zoom. I'll hook up a laptop here and then, do some kind of something where we can do it there. So just for you to see where we're up to now. They did have something to present to you guys. So, that's it for now for me.
Thank you, Chair.
When is this Wednesday is the meeting, or at what time?
12:30. 12:30.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just want to come at some point to get a little bit more from.
Okay. Thank you for that. And the fact that we have something to start referring to this quick compared to before, I think we're starting to move the direction we want to move. Okay? All right. So I guess right now we can then move into item number 8. We're going to go into executive session. We're going to skip that?
No, if you need it. I don't think, do you need it? It's up to you.
So, did we have, I think we don't have anything new, in my opinion. So, for now, let's just go into new business. Unless somebody, or any member of the board wants to discuss any matter.
Well, this relates to the 4th resolution, right?
It does.
The potential.
It does.
Okay.
Is that something we have to vote on?
Even for a few minutes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You want to do it move it around the agenda so people here can
We could do that.
business and we can.
We can then.
Those folks that are, so they don't have to wait.
Okay. All right. So then, moving on to new business, we're going to move forward with or propose the resolutions here. Okay. All right.
The audit's pretty straightforward.
Yep. So we have the resolution number 2024-04-15-01, which is for us to approve the audit and investment report for 2023. So I need a motion for that. And we're going to do a roll call of this one? Okay. Yeah.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-04, -15-01.
All right. I'm second. All right. So then after this, we're going to do a roll call.
Who was the second?
I am.
Oh, okay.
We have a small group.
Just remember your mics. Okay. Marlon Ramos,
Yes.
Christina Amato,
Yes.
Michael Kelly is absent, Adam Pollock,
Yes.
Gregory Nato,
Yes.
Teresa Priester is absent, and Yania Pearson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution carries.
Okay. So resolution number 2024-04-15-02, which is for the second public hearing for 5 Newburgh South Street Logistics Center, LLC.
I have a question. Maybe I wasn't here for the genesis of why we decided on a second one. Does anybody want to speak to that?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Yes. So one of the major factors was that we didn't have members of the public attending.
Okay.
And I think it's really vital for us to get their insight. And
Are we doing something to get the public to come when they
Yes.
didn't come in the first place?
so part of the change that we have is, as you know, we have engaged the Black Dog, right? Black Dog as a public relations, so they're going to help us put it out in the public more. So, and I think that's really important. We're going to have it through social media at this point, right? Share, I believe we're going to have be able to post on social media. And what are the new ways that we discussed that they're going to be able to share it?
So we only discussed we do everything we're supposed to. The
Right.
only other extra thing that we would be doing is probably sharing it on Facebook or Instagram. Other than that,
Right.
we don't really have anything in our two houses.
Which there's more people likely to get that information that way. So it's just the ability for us to have actual input. Okay? So,
Wait,
If I could I comment
hold,
something about it?
can you wait just 1 minute? Just want to say, I think that making a real effort, it's possible that people didn't show up because they don't care.
right?
But it's also, and that's fine. They don't
Right.
care, they don't care. But I'm just thinking how the other day I was looking at the Times Herald, I think, and there was a larger ad in there about a public hearing, and it got my attention. You know, I looked at it and I said, I might actually go to that. But in those small little places where they're announced, it's easy for a citizen to be concerned, but just totally miss it because they're not looking for it. And so, is it okay to do some kind of something in the newspaper that has a little bit more visibility?
Sure. I mean, I've only done it one way. So, I mean, there is a section on, what is it called? Announcements. But yeah, I mean, other than is it buying an ad? I mean, usually projects that would receive like we have a reporter here, he can tell you. A project that would receive like the front page of something is probably because it was controversial and it's worth writing a story about in the beginning. I don't know how we would get that.
I don't think we need to put it out there like it. Let me just say this. It's a beautiful thing that's being done, and that is property that nothing else is probably going to happen on. And at the same time, it is going to change and affect the
Right.
lives of people here.
Exactly.
Just in terms of transportation, it's one of the alternative routes to get out of Newburgh into New Windsor and the city of Newburgh. The town of Newburgh, and so that there's already significant slow traffic going there, and I think that people need to know. I don't feel like I need to go and knock on everybody's door in the neighborhood, but it could easily be like, well, why didn't I know this was happening?
Right.
And you all didn't do anything. Oh, well, here's what we did. We knew, it goes in our regular thing. I think people need to have an opportunity, and we need to hear from people about some of the impacts on their lives if they live there. So if we're not informing the people who are going to be directly impacted, then we essentially are making a decision without citizen
Right.
input.
So in addition
Can I
to,
say something? Because, I'm Charlie Bazillo, I'm the attorney for the
Can you wait?
project.
Can you just hold on for a second?
Yeah.
Please? Okay, just to answer your question.
Yes.
With respect to the notice, the legal notice should go in the legal notice section of the newspaper.
right,
There are people.
That's what happens.
There are people, I think, that still look at that because they look at it.
Right.
That's not a section of a newspaper that I look at, but I look online now. I don't think but if you have a paper, you're going to look at the legal notice if that's what you're interested in. What you're speaking about is really, to Cher's point, an additional notice within the newspaper that you would have to purchase. You pass the cost on to the applicant anyway, but it would have to be much shorter because there's a lot of information in the legal notice, like the description of the project, that goes on and on and on because the statute requires it,
Okay.
that I don't think you would want to put in a ad notice saying public meeting, May whatever IDA considers. So you'd have to consider what that ad would have to say.
Okay.
so the last thing I'll say is that personally, it's another opportunity, genuine to hear from the public that we do this work for, and I think being that this could be an impactful development, it deserves the attention.
Can I just, we also have to remember, the applicant has been through the planning board, correct?
That's what I wanted just to point out to the board, if I could for a second, that the project has gone through two other boards within the city, the planning board and the zoning board of appeals. In particular, the zoning board of appeals, which is required by law to do this, we had to mail out notices of the ZBA hearing. They were mailed to individual households within 500 feet of the project. Nobody came. There were two people, I believe, that talked at the ZBA hearing. They were both from the town of Newburgh, from across the creek. So there wasn't any interest when that notice was mailed directly to the households. And then at the planning board, we were at the planning board for several meetings. There was never any public input, and certainly never any negative input about the project. So if the board's concern is, about that the project will all of a sudden pop up and people won't know about it, the surrounding neighborhood knows about it. They've been informed about it. Now, again, I'll just say that I'm only bringing this up. We're not afraid of further public disclosure. That's not it. Our concern is about timing.
Yeah.
And, the project is already, on the cusp of whether it's economically viable, particularly for this applicant. And just in the last month alone, interest rates have gone up significantly just in the last month. So we're concerned that if there's, I don't want to call it the delay, but if more time is spent on this, that it may get to a situation where the project's not economically viable anymore.
Do we know what the delay period would be?
Sorry, I just want to sort of reiterate that. I know there was probably some discussion I wasn't part of, but I know we are interested in getting more public input, and we are interested in engaging because of what we do and have now more of an ability to do it. But on the other side of it, the development side, yes, I entirely agree. Projects are becoming more and more difficult. Interest rates are going up. And we are not a board that decides whether this project moves forward or not. The project has already been approved at the planning board and at the zoning board, and people, I think sometimes we have to remember what our role is. Every board kind of would like to have a larger role in the approval process, but our lane is for the benefits, the economic benefits, the pilot benefits that they are asking of, not to get public's input as to what the project looks like, zoning or planning issues, because the applicants already had to do that. So I understand we want to try to engage and that this is a big project for us, but I'm just a little bit confused as to what we are trying to get out of it at the expense of delaying this. Like, what is our mission in trying to do this? Are we trying to notify people that didn't come out for the first few notices? Because, right, when they have to go through the public process, when any of you are next to something that happens, planning or zoning, you get a letter in the mail that says if you want to come out and listen to this plan or this plan. If we get people who stand up and don't want the plan, that was an approval that happened. That's not our board. We are just looking at the economic benefits of a plan that has already been approved at a planning level and at a zoning level. So I just really want to be careful about the reasons why we are asking them to go through another delay.
Right. So what this tells me is what some of our processes are, and I understand what you're saying. And my position is, how are we moving forward with all of the projects that are coming in, and how we're communicating with the community that we represent. Part of what we've worked at in the last year is trying to get better and trying to be more open about what we're doing, and trying to hopefully, well, we're not the most popular board. This is not exciting things that, like people want to like bust that door to come in and sit in like an hour or 2 hours. But I think what we could be potentially doing and be missing is what our community has to say. We all know that there's amazing attributes to the project, right? But it is my position that the public deserves another opportunity. We deserve to hear from the public and then take it from there. So that's why I suggested this, and it's on our one of our resolutions for today. So if I guess I would have to move forward with the resolution.
Can I also ask a question, because I want to make a well-informed decision on the resolution? What kind of delay are we talking about?
Well, it's a whole nother public hearing. It's a whole nother month. It's
How it'll take another month?
So
instead of, right,
But then another-
it's actually, it's another 2 months actually, because last month, or when did we meet last? Seemed like,
March 18th.
okay, so last month we decided, and if we do this now, we will have the public hearing when?
So the statute requires 10 days' notice.
10 days, okay.
So the earliest that, assuming that you could, what's today? Monday, right? Sorry. Assuming you could get everything out by, say, Thursday. Mm-hmm. Thursday is the 18th, so you would have the public hearing. The earliest would be the 29th of April.
The 29th of April,
Yes. That would be the earliest.
okay.
And
And then
the
when
board-
we actually vote on
The
it,
board does not need to be present for the public
Right.
hearing. Many agencies just have the executive director. It's not a debate. It's a public hearing. It's to hear comments. Then your next meeting would be the third Monday of May, and that would be the consideration, assuming you, the board had the transcript of both public hearings. I haven't seen the transcript of the first one yet.
I have it, but it's nothing.
Okay, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
So that would be, what's the meeting date?
The 20th, I think.
20th? That would be the date that you, the earliest date that you could consider an approving resolution, and then we would go through the closing process with the applicant after that.
And our closing process takes generally,
I mean, we can do it in 2 weeks if we had to. I mean, it all depends on what we get from the applicant and the drafting of the documents. We don't start drafting until the board approves, and then we've done it as quickly as 2 weeks. We've sometimes taken longer than that, depending on negotiation of documents and how long it takes.
So
I just feel that
Thanks.
we have a great process, and it's exciting that we want to try to engage more people. I think it's unfair to request this for an applicant that has already gone through the process that we have outlined. We have done what we're supposed to do. I agree, it would be great if more people showed up for these things, but public engagement in the city of Newburgh, unfortunately, is very, very difficult. And people have been given a lot of opportunities, I think, to say something, and I feel a little remiss that we're trying to sort of drum up something that they have diligently gone through.
I hear your point, Chrissy. It is difficult to educate the public to come out and speak on things that are going to impact them. And from a citizen point of view, sitting here, I want to be able to say that when someone says, well, you all agreed on this pilot, and why didn't we know about that? And if I say, well, you have to keep your eye on these things, okay? So we did our due diligence, and you have to keep an eye on these things. There's also no guarantee that if we do another public hearing that we'll get any different response. I hadn't taken into consideration that the planning, that these other things have happened. I don't think we're separated out of an approval process, because when developers come to us and they say, if we don't get this pilot, this is not possible, then it does put us in a particular kind of approval or non-approval position. So I think that's technical, like that's a technical issue. And I'm also trying to understand, and thanks for your patience, because this is an educational process always for me, that, and I think it's very, very important that we stay in our lane, so to speak. And I have an opportunity to gather my thoughts here. My personal, okay, I'm speaking as my personal opinion is that it is unfortunate that a project is going to go through that's going to have a major impact, and it went, under the radar, so to speak. And when it's a technical issue to meet all the minimum requirements of notifying the public, and we have met the minimal requirements, and I also hear that a delay has an impact. A lot of us don't deal with those kind of deadlines. Like, you have money today, and a month or 2 months, the interest rates are higher. That's a real thing. So I'm a little bit in this is a quagmire for me. And I will say that I did support the idea of the resolution. However, what I'm noticing is that the things that we're trying to put into place right now, with being more transparent and being more informative through our website and the conferences that we want to do, that we're hoping to be a little bit more proactive from here on to help educate the public so they can make good decisions, and then they can let us know that they can make good decisions. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think anything has happened to educate the public like, hey, in my community, we just had a planning committee, and what happens under our property is going to be a real big deal. And I was very disappointed at zoning board that there's only 2 people who came out, and I know a lot more people got letters, but they did not come out to hear what was really going on. So that's my dilemma, my Marlon. That's what's kind of going through my mind. I agree with the spirit of what we're trying to do, and I don't mean that for words. I mean like that is the spirit that we're trying to move in terms of integrity and being good neighbors. We want people to come out, and we want people to be informed about things that are going to impact their lives. So,
Right.
And my last question is, the truth of the matter is, if we make a decision to not pass this resolution, does that automatically mean that we're still not going to vote? Are we?
Not today, I think.
Then we would.
Or today, not today.
We
it's not
still
on the
wouldn't
agenda.
be voting until next month,
That would be the earliest.
right?
Yeah.
Because we don't have a resolution to approve or not approve the pilot on our agenda. So we still can't say,
Well, but we also have to start the contract process, right? We can't approve a pilot until we have a contract in place.
So what would normally go, you haven't been here, I don't think, for an approving? Well, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did one, yeah.
191.
Yeah, we did
last-
191, yeah.
191 last year. So what we normally do on our side is, once we get indication from the board that you're ready to consider the approving resolution, we start drafting the 2 attachments that go with the approving resolution. One is really the benchmarks of what the expected benefits are and when they're going to occur. And then the other is the recapture events. What is the applicant obligated to do? And if they fail to do it, that you can go and recapture the benefits, essentially cancel the benefits and get all the exemption money back. So we would normally start drafting that.
Okay.
My process has always been that after we have an initial draft of that, and I share it with the executive director, that we would then share it with counsel for the applicant, get their input, see if they have any objections, and then discuss those objections with the executive director and to discuss them with the board. The goal would be that we circulate those 2 exhibits to the board at least a week to 10 days before the board meeting, that have already been vetted by the executive director and vetted by counsel for the applicant, so that when you have the approving resolution before you've already seen what the prospective benefits are, as well as what the recapture events are. And then after, assuming there's a positive vote on that, then we would go and try and close.
okay.
Given it's May 20th, given that Memorial Day's in the middle there, we probably would be a mid-June, I would think, if everything works fast. And if Charlie gets me everything that I need, it would probably be a mid-June closing. Probably not on the mortgage, because you probably don't have your financing. Probably not on the mortgage, which that sometimes comes months later, like it did on the Foundry. Foundry was actually almost a full year after the fact. Well, 9 months, 10 months, 10 months, 10 months after the initial closing of the financial assistance. So we would close on the pilot and on the sales tax. They really want the sales tax anyway, the exemption to get going, and then we would do follow up with the mortgage when when they're ready for it.
Thanks.
All right.
But if that whole process that Bob just explained, I understand, we agree with, but that could all get delayed by another month or 2 months if we
After
go down the
summer
road
break.
of another of an extended public hearing. And well, maybe not the last thing, but maybe the last thing I'll say is that I think it's also important to understand in this particular project we're in compliance with the board's current UTEP. So we're asking for benefits. There's no doubt about that. Yes, but we're not asking for something that's outside of what the board's kind of already thought process is for what is a typical kind of benefit that's given. So I think that's also important to consider when you think about is there really a need to extend the public hearing from what we had already.
All right, so thank you. Okay, so I'm going to propose the resolution, and then everybody's going to get a vote.
Marlon, do you have any comments after what you've heard
Yes,
here?
I think
that might be helpful.
I think that the use for this property with the proposed plan is a great idea. I think there's some real great benefits that could bring to the city. I just don't want it to be a missed opportunity to engage the community. That's where I stand, really.
Okay.
All right. So I move for resolution 2024-04-15-02 for the second public hearing for the Newburgh South Street Logistics Center.
Second.
All right, I think there's been a roll call.
Roll call. Marlon Ramos.
Yes.
Christina Amato.
No.
Michael Kelly is absent. Adam Pollock.
No.
Gregory Inato.
No.
Teresa Priester is absent. And Yania Pearson.
I'm going to abstain.
Motion does not carry.
Okay, moving on to next resolution. And this is for, Bob, this is for the amendment of,
Scobie Drive.
yeah.
So, as many of you will recall, and some of you don't, you entered into a contract of sale for Scobie Drive in July of 2020. And they have been working through their plan with DEC, and as I reported last month, DEC has received public comments, has essentially approved the plan, subject to further submissions, which the purchaser is working through. Their attorney spoke to us last month and requested a further extension of the due diligence period. Right now, the due diligence period expires at the end of June 30th. They've requested a full year to finish their work with the following exceptions, that if they were able to obtain, I just want to make sure I get this right, obtain approval of the remedial action work plan from DEC and conditional site approval from the city, and I don't think I've ever been here where it's been so noisy.
Let's just give it a minute.
It's the first day of nice weather.
It's tax day, everybody's
It's
pissed.
tax day, that's true.
So,
So, the closing, the due diligence period, which now would be June 30th of next year, would be accelerated to 30 days within, if all three events happen, the acceptance of the remedial action work plan by DEC, the approval of the site plan by the city, and your approval of financial assistance to the applicant. You don't have an application yet, but I presume that they will submit some sort of application, because that was always contemplated as part of the contract. So this resolution extends the due diligence period by 1 year, subject to, if those 3 events occur within the year, they agree to close within 30 days and buy the property within 30 days. That's what the amendment does.
Okay. All right, so I think it's fitting for what they need. I mean, at this point, yeah, this is the 4th?
It's the 4th amendment.
Right.
So initially, they had 2 years to close. You extended it once. The second time was within the first amendment was for 6 months. The second one was another 6 months. The third one was for a year. This would be the 4th one for another year.
I have a question about the property. Right now, are they responsible for the maintenance of the property?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you for answering the question there. So I guess we need a motion to move.
I'll make that motion. I make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-04-1513 to authorize the 4th Amendment to the contract for the sale of real property of 5 Scobie Drive.
I second.
Do a roll call. Marlon Ramos.
Yes.
Christina Amato.
Yes.
Michael Kelly is absent. Adam Pollock.
Yes.
Gregory Nato.
Yes.
Teresa Priester is absent. And Yanya Pearson.
Yes.
Resolution carries.
Okay. The next resolution.
So this resolution is in connection with the property at 145 Broadway. You've heard-
I'm sorry to interrupt. Were we going to?
Yes, skip over.
That's right.
Fifth one?
Yes, that's correct.
Two executives.
Okay. So, right. So then moving on to the following resolution, 2024-04-15-05, the amendment to the branding and marketing advertising consultant agreement.
Just FYI, it says 2023 on the resolution, just change it to 2024. Oh, right here, see. It says
Oh,
2020.
yeah.
That was, actually, David and I missed that, so.
All right. So the amendment is for the inclusion of the photography services. So we just need a resolution to, or somebody will move forward.
Do we want to just tell
resolution.
the board
So
either one?
want to
you
share
me,
some
you wanna
details,
do
or
it,
I could. Yeah, sure. So part of where we are at in the website development is in the getting photos for Newburgh, right, that represent Newburgh, and we've part of the original contract didn't include that, but that's part of the services that actually need to be in order for the whole thing to be the website that we're looking to actually end up with, right? So with this amendment, we would be including the payment of this photography work. That's going to concentrate, obviously, in Newburgh. So
Right. And it's 3 days of photography.
5 days, I think, right?
You have the bill in your. Whoever's got the bills, they have the bill for Black Dog. Whoever's got the folder.
Yours says.
Nope. I think we settled on 5 days. And that one?
And it's a very long list.
Yes.
With her photocopy?
Participants, businesses.
Awesome.
That's what it is.
So it's a very thorough, photography will have
Sampling
a ton of content. So we can use it in multiple ways. So it's a very thorough list of local businesses,
5 days.
local residents, and it'll generate content that we can use in multiple ways, and it'll make the website as customized for us as possible.
Yep. So this basically just facilitates the whole thing. So we
It's
just
an added cost that was outside of what we initially anticipated. So
Right.
this is to include that, and it wasn't in the original scope of work. So now we're adding that properly.
Because when we see our beautiful new website and there's like stock photography of like strangers in a
Right.
conference room, that's not
We have a lot to
anybody we
showcase.
know. It's not.
We have a lot to showcase, that's right.
So this will help us accomplish that. All right. So we need somebody to make the motion.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2024-04-15-05.
All right, I second.
Okay, do a roll call. Marlon Ramos,
Yes.
Christina Amato,
Yes.
Michael Kelly is absent, Adam Pollock,
Yes.
Gregory Nato, Teresa Priester is absent, and Yania Pearson.
Yes.
Resolution carried.
All right. Thank you for that. And I think that's it for now regarding these. We can then move into executive session to discuss what is real estate matters.
Sale or lease of real property.
Yeah, release of real property.
I move that we enter executive session to discuss the disposition of real property.
I second.
I don't think we need a roll call. All in
No.
favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah, there it is.
Okay. I make a motion to come out of executive session.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain?
Okay, so we just came out of executive session, and we're going to be tabling the resolution. All right. So 2024-04-15-04. All right. So then we can move on to item number 10, old business. Any old business? No?
No old business.
Okay. All right, so somebody can please make the,
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
we have a
I
second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstaining? Opposing? All right, that's a meeting for today. Thank you.